When people imagine the samurai, they often see armored men on horseback, swords gleaming in the sun. But what made the samurai truly unique was not only their weapons or their discipline in war, it was their spirit. That spirit was deeply shaped by religion and philosophy. The samurai were not just men of steel, but men of faith, bound by beliefs that guided every choice they made, from how they fought to how they died. To understand the samurai fully, we must look at Zen Buddhism, Shintō traditions, and Confucian teachings, the three pillars that defined their lives. Zen Buddhism first arrived in Japan from China in the late 12th century, just as the samurai were rising to power. Its influence on them was immediate and profound. Zen taught meditation, discipline, and detachment from worldly desires. For a warrior who could die at any moment, this was essential. Zen training helped the samurai accept death, overcome fear, and act with calmness even in chaos. The practice of zazen, or seated meditation, became a cornerstone of samurai culture. Sitting quietly, focusing on breath, and letting go of distractions, these were not abstract exercises but survival tools for men who lived on the edge of life and death. Zen also introduced the concept of mushin, or mind without mind. In combat, hesitation meant death. To survive, a warrior needed to move without thought, to act instinctively yet precisely. Through years of training, the samurai sought to internalize their techniques until they no longer had to think about them. The sword became an extension of the body, the strike a natural flow. This was mushin, perfect action, free from hesitation or doubt. For the samurai, it was both a martial goal and a spiritual state. But Zen's influence was not limited to the battlefield. It shaped the samurai's appreciation of art and simplicity. The tea ceremony, with its quiet rituals and emphasis on mindfulness, reflected Zen ideals. So did rock gardens, calligraphy, and ink painting. A samurai might spend his morning practicing with the sword and his afternoon composing poetry or contemplating a garden. This was not contradiction, but balance. Zen taught that the same calmness needed in meditation was also needed in war and in life. Alongside Zen, the older traditions of Shintō remained vital. Shintō was Japan's indigenous faith, centered on reverence for nature, ancestors, and the kami, divine spirits present in all things. For the samurai, Shintō gave a sense of belonging. Mountains, rivers, and forests were seen as sacred. Even a warrior's sword could be considered to have a spirit. Before battles, samurai prayed at shrines, seeking protection from the kami. Victories were dedicated to them, defeats explained by their will. Shintō also emphasized loyalty to family and clan. Ancestor worship was a central part of the samurai's worldview. To fight and die with honor was not just a personal duty, but a way of honoring generations that came before. A samurai who died bravely joined his ancestors as a protective spirit. But a samurai who brought shame on his family disgraced the entire lineage. This sense of duty to the past gave meaning to sacrifice in the present. The rituals of Shintō could be seen everywhere in samurai life. Ceremonies before battle, prayers for harvest, offerings at shrines, all reinforce the idea that the samurai were part of a greater order. Their swords were purified with rituals, their homes protected with charms, their children blessed by priests. In a world of violence, these acts gave reassurance that the spirits were watching. Confucianism added yet another dimension. Imported from China, its teachings became increasingly influential during the Tokugawa period. Confucian values emphasized hierarchy, duty, and order. For the samurai, this meant absolute loyalty to their lord, obedience to authority, and respect for parents and elders. It also meant seeing society as a structured whole, where everyone had a role, from the shogun to the farmer. The samurai's place was clear: to serve, to protect, and to uphold order. Together, Zen, Shintō, and Confucianism created a unique blend of beliefs. A samurai might meditate in Zen silence, pray at a Shintō shrine, and follow Confucian rules of duty all in the same day. There was no contradiction. Each system reinforced the others, forming a complete philosophy of life. Zen gave the samurai calmness, Shintō gave them loyalty to the sacred order, and Confucianism gave them structure and duty. When a samurai performed seppuku, all three beliefs came together. Zen acceptance of death, Shintō loyalty to ancestors, and Confucian duty to order fused into one act. It was not simply suicide, but a ritual that expressed the entire worldview of the samurai. In that single moment, philosophy and faith became flesh and blood. This harmony of religions shaped not only how the samurai fought, but how they governed and how they lived in times of peace. During the Tokugawa era, Zen meditation and Confucian studies became essential parts of education. Samurai practiced tea ceremony, poetry, and painting as ways to refine their spirit. They studied Confucian classics to prepare for roles as administrators, and they kept Shintō traditions alive in household rituals and shrine visits. The samurai were not only warriors of the sword, they were warriors of the spirit. Their strength came as much from their beliefs as from their weapons, and it was this inner discipline, as much as their armor and blades, that made them Japan's most enduring symbol. The Tokugawa peace lasted more than 2 centuries, and in that time the samurai changed from battlefield warriors into bureaucrats, teachers, and moral guides. Yet even without constant war, religion remained the foundation of their identity. Zen taught them discipline of mind, Shintō rooted them in tradition, and Confucianism provided the framework for duty and social order. For many samurai, meditation in a Zen temple was as important as training with a sword. Samurai lords often supported Zen monasteries, seeking their wisdom and their ability to instill discipline in retainers. Some warriors even became monks after retiring from service, finding in Zen the peace they had once sought in battle. At the same time, Shintō ceremonies bound samurai families to their past. Household shrines honored ancestors, while community shrines celebrated local kami. Seasonal festivals, prayers before campaigns, and offerings of thanks for survival all reminded the warrior that his life was tied to forces greater than himself. Even the act of polishing a sword could be done as a ritual, treating the weapon as a sacred object. Confucianism, meanwhile, became the official ideology of the Tokugawa state. Samurai were expected to live as moral exemplars, showing loyalty, honesty, and discipline. They studied Chinese classics, memorized codes of conduct, and applied Confucian principles to governance. Loyalty to one's lord, once a matter of personal honor, became framed as part of a broader system of harmony. By obeying their lords, samurai upheld the balance of the world. This blending of Zen, Shintō, and Confucianism created Bushidō as we know it today. Bushidō was not written in a single book. It was lived daily through rituals, meditation, prayers, and duty. It was a way of life that demanded readiness for death but also respect for life. It asked the samurai to be both fierce in battle and gentle in culture, both loyal to lord and devoted to family, both grounded in tradition and open to philosophy. Even as Japan modernized in the 19th century, these influences endured. When the samurai class was abolished, their spirit lived on through martial arts shaped by Zen, community rituals shaped by Shintō, and codes of discipline shaped by Confucian thought. Modern Japan still carries traces of this legacy. In tea ceremonies, in bowing as a sign of respect, in the pursuit of perfection in arts and crafts, and in the reverence for nature and ancestors. The samurai are remembered for their swords and armor, but their true strength came from within. Their courage was born not only of training, but of belief. To walk the path of the warrior meant to live with Zen calmness, Shintō reverence, and Confucian order. These 3 systems, woven together, created a code that has fascinated the world for centuries. The samurai were men of war, but also men of spirit. They fought with blades, but they lived and died by faith.